Good morning, folks. The real Captain Kirk here, live from Weather Trends 360 studio here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. It is the 1st of July. Hard to believe that's the case. Thought we'd recap here June weather summary across the U.S. The map upper left there is the temps versus last year. So again, most of the country cooler to much cooler than a year ago. Grays are about the same, and yellows are a little warmer. So warmer in the few extreme areas of Maine, Florida, and the Pacific Northwest. Maps bottom left there are temps versus average. Again, most of the country average. A few areas in those yellow areas slightly above average, and the blues a little below average. Chart there in the middle is the coolest in 10 years nationally for June, below average. Hot 90-degree days, down 28%. So by no means was it a hot June on a national scale at least. Rainfall versus average, very dry in the western half of the country and still pretty wet in the eastern, in pockets of the eastern part of the country. Kentucky, North Carolina, those areas had a little bit of flooding, maybe down in Arkansas. U.S. overall, we'd say it's the 7th wettest in 30 years, and so much of those areas in the purples are over 5 inches of rain. Not terribly unusual, but again, not as much rain as we'd seen earlier in the spring here. So, but again, still 7th wettest in 30 years, so nothing terribly dramatic. Looking at this week overall, the first week of July, 1 through 7, again, warm in the eastern half of the country, cool in the west and the plains. Going to see a pattern shift here with that cold weather expanding to the east here as we move through the middle part of July. This week we'd say is the coolest in 3 years, 10th warmest in 30 years, so nothing terribly cold. Wettest in 4 years and 3rd wettest in 30 years. With, again, quite a bit of rainfall in the Midwest Plains, Ohio Valley, and approaching the East Coast here. Jumping ahead to next, actually this 4th of July weekend here, 4th through the 7th, those are the 4 days, Thursday through Sunday. Again, warm in the east, nothing super hot, but going to be on the warm side in the eastern third of the country. Overall, for the country as a whole, we'd say it's the coolest July 4th in 4 years, but still, again, 14th warmest in 30 years. So kind of in the middle of the pack, kind of an average July 4th when you average it across the country. Unfortunately, on the wet side, stormy side, so this is not total washout rain, but it's the wettest in 25 years for the holiday and 2nd wettest in 30 years. A lot of this is thunderstorm activity, so again, it's not going to be a total washout. But if you're in the Midwest, Ohio Valley, East Coast, even up into Montana, going to have some thunder showers to contend with over the holiday weekend. Looking ahead next week, 2nd week of July, again, see that pattern shift of the cooler weather heading toward the Midwest, Great Lakes, into the Northeast, and eventually to the East Coast. So coolest in 10 years for the 2nd week of July, 4th coolest in 30 years nationally. Wettest in 9 years and 2nd wettest in 30 years. So again, just continues with this wet, thunderstormy type pattern. Anytime you bring cool air down, you're going to get some thunderstorm activity. Took a mini vacation here for a few days last week, and if you were to say that this was northern New Jersey, not too terribly far from New York City, you'd say that's impossible. Obviously, the palm trees are planted every year, but this is Long Branch, New Jersey, where we like to go. Water is just amazing. Again, as a kid growing up in Rutgers back in the day, you never went to the Jersey Shore because of all the debris and everything on the islands. But actually, the water is clean enough. We saw a couple dozen dolphins right off the shore, and then a big whale. We hope it wasn't a great white shark, but was chasing these dolphins down the shore there. A couple dozen of these. Of course, little Angelina Kirk had to yell "shark." Because they look like sharks to her. But again, as you can tell from the photo here, water quality is just amazing. Just a blue-green color. You'd think you're kind of down in the tropics. So again, it's a dramatic shift from back in the day in the 80s. I took the Mrs. Captain Kirk and her mom, Booney, as a grandmother in Romanian, and Angelina had just, again, phenomenal time at the shore here for a couple days. We built our fort, little fort here. Sand quality is not that great. Back as a kid in Hawaii, built some phenomenal sand castles, but here we just plopped the bucket in and put the flag on it, of course. Angelina loves everything flag and everything water, and she can probably tell you where every state in America is. So she actually knows New Jersey is associated with beach, waves, blue ice cream, and airplanes with flags, the advertising plane. So cutie little patootie for sure. After that, we went to the neighbor's pool party and the bouncer. So it was kind of a nonstop week here. And then off to Longwood Gardens. If you haven't been there in southeast PA, it's actually spectacular. And of course, the little girl says, "So big are the fountains." So again, it was a beautiful day for Longwood Gardens. So if you haven't been down there, it's also worth the trip. So at this point, I need a vacation from the vacation, and we hope you have a great week here. And we will be back again this time next week. Have a great week, folks.